Hey guys, welcome back to Part1 Auto Diagnostics. Behind me I have a 2004 Ford Explorer XLT with the 4-liter 6-cylinder engine. And this was the same one with the busted spark plugs that we tuned up earlier this year. And the customer, this time the complaint is, let's see, she said her check gauges light came on the dashboard. So that was kind of weird. And the reason for that light, let me show you where it is first. Let's see. That red light right there. Check gauge. So she said that light came on 2 or 3 times now, intermittently. And the last time it happened, she said she was driving along and the temperature gauge here, let's see, that's the oil pressure, I guess the engine temperature. Yep, she said it shot up to H, and then she said she lost heat at the dash. You know, cold air started blowing out, and then 30 seconds later the heat came back on, the gauge came back down to normal reading, and that warning light went out. I'm like, huh. That's a very peculiar set of events there. So, you know, if she lost heat, that means the coolant wasn't circulating through the heater core. So I think I can trust this temperature gauge. If it shot up to H, then it, you know, really was an overheating event. So first thing we should do is check under the hood. I want to check the coolant level, see what that looks like. Let's see here. Here's the coolant bottle. So the level looks like it's about there, and it should be up here. So it's below the middle of the tank. And then I noticed the cap was kind of wet, and there's a whole bunch of wetness on the fender here, almost like the fluid, you know, got forced out. And last night when, you know, the truck was cold, I opened up the reservoir and a whole bunch of pressure came out. I'm like, well, that's strange too. I took a sniff inside and it kind of smelled like gasoline. I'm like, this is not a good sign here. This all really reminds me of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Subaru head gaskets, but I've seen one where an air pocket develops, you know, from a leaking head gasket. The combustion gases get into the cooling jacket, and that prevents the coolant flow. The engine starts to overheat. You get no heat, you know, at the dash or inside the cabin, and then that gas like forces the coolant out of the reservoir. So at this point, right away, without doing any checks, I'm suspecting, I guess best case scenario, blown head gasket. Now in the last Subaru I worked on, I was going to replace the head gaskets, and then I found a cracked engine block. Like the cylinder wall was just cracked and the combustion gases were getting into the cooling jacket. So in any case, it doesn't look good for this truck. So let's do a couple checks. I mean, all we can do is do a compression check. Let's do a relative compression to see how it sounds cranking, and go from there. But yeah, Ford Exploder, right? So I want to see if this has a clear flood mode. I'm going to put the pedal to the floor. Sounds normal. I mean, if I can't hear it, then we could always throw a scope on there, and then maybe just start it up, let it warm up. I don't know if it happens when it's hot or when it's cold. She said the engine was warmed up when this happened, so And then if it's a slight leak, it might not even show up on a compression test. But we can do a relative compression test and just see how it runs, see if it builds pressure in the reservoir. I'm going to start it up. Seems to run smooth. Taking a little bit. We'll see if there's pressure building up here right now. Nothing excessive right now, so it might have to be driven to recreate the problem. So I'm revving it up. I can hear air bubbles circulating through the heater core. So I want to plug in the scan tool and see if we have any misfires recorded in history. Maybe help us narrow down which cylinder could be leaking. So I got OBD2 mode hooked up. There are no codes stored. So now for Fords, we can go to our, let's see here, onboard monitor test. Look at mode 6 data to see if there are any misfires recorded. So not seeing any misses. See misfire counts last, cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, 4, 5, and 6. So nothing there. So this is really bizarre. No heat. Engine coolant temperature seems to be rising. It's 165 right now. Normal. The level in the tank is getting pretty high. It's up here now. It used to be down here. All the hoses are cold. I mean, seriously, these are the heater hoses, and they're both cold. So we have no circulation. So is that a bad water pump then? That could very well be. So we don't want to jump to conclusions here. You know, it's not a head gasket, then it's going to be a lot cheaper fix. The harmonic balancer down there looks like it's seen better days. It's a little wobbly. I can see right here. Hope the camera's picking that up. It's all over the place. So it might be a water pump, you know, like a plastic impeller in there fell off. That's a very real possibility. That would also explain our symptoms here. So we got no circulation. Our engine temp is basically up. I want to see if this thing actually overheats. 183 degrees Fahrenheit. No heat. So now, when I'm revving it up, I don't hear the bubbles in the heater core anymore. Okay? So, again, if the water pump's bad, or intermittently, you know, if the impeller is sometimes spinning, sometimes not spinning, that could definitely explain that too. So I'm hoping it's not a blown head gasket. At this point, if there's no circulation and it's full of coolant, that's definitely pointing to a bad water pump. Now look at our engine coolant temp. It's 206. So that's going up, up, up. And if it starts to boil, then the air pockets in there will definitely spike that gauge. Oh yeah, we're definitely above normal now. It's 217, 219. Still no heat. So props to the owner for bringing it over. I told her it's probably no big deal at first. I thought it was an instrument cluster problem, but that's cold. Yeah, those guys are pretty cold. That's the water pump that's spinning, but I'm pretty sure it's not doing much. Huh, so the temperature dropped there. Did the thermostat open? Ooh, now we just got a blast of heat here. And the coolant temperature is dropping significantly. We just got a blast of heat. Oh yeah, it's nice and warm. That's dropping. Let's see what's happening to our hoses. Okay, that got warm. So it's possible that the thermostat opened up, and so how would that explain our... Okay, these are hot now. Yeah, very hot. So I'm suspecting an intermittently non-functional impeller in the water pump at this point. At our reservoir level, let's see, where is it? Did it drop back down? I think it dropped back down to here. Yeah, that's normal. So we have heat at 190 Fahrenheit. Alright, well, I'm going to look online, see if there's TSBs or if this is a common issue on these Explorers. But hopefully this owner will get away with the water pump, maybe a new thermostat. And at this point, again, cross my fingers, it's not a blown head gasket, but judging by the way it's running, smooth, the compression, just by ear, it sounded normal. And if the coolant was, if the head gasket was breached, when you shut the engine off, usually the coolant, because the system is pressurized, leaks back into the cylinder, and then you have a misfiring cylinder for a while on cold start, and that was not the case here. So we'll see. Basically, I'm going to find out more information, and we'll probably do a water pump on this thing. Alright, this is cool. So I'm losing heat again at the vents, and our temperature is climbing back up over 200 degrees. So I'm just going to let it idle and see how high this temperature climbs without me, punching the gas and maybe making the impeller spin a little bit. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. So I got another burst of hot air. The temperature dropped like a rock to 174. So this definitely can't be caused by a sticking thermostat, because you always have flow through your heater core. That's a common misconception. A stuck thermostat, meaning stuck closed, will not cause you to lose heat at the vents. So again, this is a intermittent problem, which is kind of weird. That sometimes the impeller works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it freewheels for a little bit and then You know, spins a little bit. But I want to see if this thing cycles, meaning bad to good, and we'll go from there. So, tearing into this Ford Explorer, first I want to see if that water pump impeller is actually loose. And to do that, I'm going to take off this thermostat housing, take off that bypass hose, and just look down in there, turn the pulley, and see what's going on with the impeller. But this color of, I don't know what the heck this is, like a milkshake. Is there oil in the coolant? Because the head gasket isn't ruled out yet. And, well, to get a definitive diagnosis, we either have to do a chemical test, you know, for combustion gases, which I'll get the kit tomorrow. But right now I just want to rule out the water pump, and that does not look like a good coolant, you know, color. I mean, the coolant came out kind of yellow, but we'll see what it looks like from here. I got the thermostat housing off. Stick a pry bar in there. See if you guys can see the water pump in there. See it spinning? Nothing wrong with the water pump, unfortunately. And in there, we see milkshake. Yep. Seen that before. I guess the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? That sucks. That really sucks. Well, that's the end of the diagnosis. Worst case scenario, it is a blown head gasket, so unfortunately the loose impeller theory fell through, so I'm going to have to contact the customer and give them the bad news. 2004 Ford Explorer, 170,000 miles, blown head gasket. Or cracked head. I mean, we don't know until we pull it apart, but I don't know if they're going to go ahead with it or just junk it. Too bad they just put new tires on it. It's a damn shame. Brand new. A couple days ago. Alright guys, thanks for watching. There you go. Check gauge. We're in the red. Got no heat. Let's see what's going on under the hood. Smell coolant. Oh yeah. Look at that. Straight all over the place. Looks like an air pocket, so when we get back, we're going to open that up and check for the combustible gases with a leak tester. Alright, here we go. We got the tester filled up. Let's unscrew the radiator cap. Check the pressure. Should be okay. Wow, no pressure built up in there. It's interesting. Alright, let's do it. Make sure the coolant level's down. Turning yellow. It says pump for 1 minute, but I think that's pretty definitive. Blown head gasket, 2004 Ford Explorer. We'll see what the customer wants to do. I actually have a friend who is about to junk his 2002 Ford Explorer for a bad transmission. Maybe we'll end up doing an engine swap, but there you have it.